Wow, this is just a little surreal, and I mean, when I got the email from Ellen, it still doesn't seem like it could be a mistake. There's so many, just hearing the people in front of me in the past, Hall of Famers, it doesn't quite seem like I'm worthy. I don't really like awards, but I love being with you all. I love being with the Sacramento community, running community, and it just feels like an extended family, and that's what it's about. And I just love seeing people that I haven't seen in a long time out here. So I want to thank you for SRA for putting this together. I know it's a lot of work, and I do appreciate all the work they went to do this. And a special thanks to my dad, who flew out here with his wife, Susie. He's always influenced my running and just been a constant inspiration in my life today and in the past and forever. So thank you so much for coming out. I had to kind of write down some stuff because I get emotional, and although I'm a public speaker, I don't like to do this kind of speaking. So I'm going to put on my grandma glasses, excuse me, because I'm getting that age. But many of you know, and as I said, I didn't run in high school or college. I actually did a lot of soccer in high school. I love soccer. And I actually hated doing laps. You know, you did all this soccer and you did all this running, and then they made you laps. And I'm like, why are we doing laps? First of all, you go in a circle and you end where you start, so I don't see the point. You're already there, why even do it, you know? Plus, we already did those exercises, so I didn't even get it at all. So it wasn't actually until, you know, in college, I would jog just to, you know, think, de-stress, solve the world's problems, that kind of thing. I was a jogger. And then it wasn't until 1997, my major professor in graduate school, Roger McDonald, I'll never forget, I was in my PhD program. He took me in his office and he said, so Mary, you know, you passed your boards, you got 2 articles, you're about to get your PhD, what do you want to do with it? And I don't know. You know, I didn't know. You know, I was working at the cellular level, insulin secretion, beta cells. I didn't want to do lab work, but I didn't know. He says, why don't you just take a year off and not be a jogger, maybe go run and do some stuff? And I'm like, a year? What the heck would I do for the whole year? You know, that's a long time not to do anything. So anyways, I took his advice. I actually took a year off to what they called PELT back then to figure out what I want to do in life and convert the jogger to a runner. So I found this flyer. Yeah, this is 1997. We had flyers. We didn't have Google and, you know, figure out stuff out. So I actually had flyers, and I found this flyer that said, hey, the Buffalo Chips had this Tuesday night interval workout. And I'm like, wow. You know, I showed it to my husband, Dave, and he's like, yeah, you should try it out. I'm like, never done speed before, but I should try it out, you know, give it a go. So I took everything I had, basically, because it did say all runners welcome, you know. So I thought, okay, I took everything I had. I'd rally myself, drive out there. Given I knew Davis very well, Sacramento not so well, Cal Expo not so well. It's dark. Okay, I drive out there, I find the right place, which already I'm thinking, okay, I found the place. Cal Expo is kind of big, if you haven't noticed. There's like a lot of lots. So I'm driving around. Finally, I find the spot. And then I park my car, and I see a couple other cars, a couple of runners. I'm like, okay, I got the right spot. A couple of runners come out, more runners come out. I'm like, oh my God, my stomach just got in these knots, and I felt like I was gonna vomit. I mean, really, these people were like fit, they had these outfits on, and I'm looking at my sweats and going, oh my God, you know, I'm like, I don't know. And so I wait a little longer, more people come, and then people start like running in like these circles and madness, and I think, God, there's like mice trying to find the end of the maze. I don't get it, you know, and I'm sitting in my car, and I drove home. I never got out of my car. I got home, Dave's like, how'd it go? I'm like, great. I can't lie, I didn't get out of the car. You know, I just couldn't do it, you know? And so a week later, my husband Dave, he came with me. Given he didn't even run at the time, but this is like, it was nerve-wracking, right? And I remember I went to the Buffalo Chip workout and their outfits were good. So that says something in itself, you know. And then anyway, so a week later, I get out of the car. And this guy is like yelling these announcements and saying stuff. It's language I understand now, but back then it could have been German. I had no idea what he was talking about. Yelling, yelling, yelling. People start running off. And then he asks, is there anyone new? And I raise my hand, and he comes over, super nice, introduces himself. And I said, yeah, I'm new. And then he looks down, and he goes, so did you bring real running shoes? I'm like, oh, no. Anyways, that was the beginning of what became my family, George and Chris. George and Chris, not only did they help me find my passion in running, they introduced me to the world of racing, and they became my family in terms of holidays and celebrations. And that also began the start of so many wonderful relationships, first with the Chips, Tuesday night workouts, meeting friends like Bruce and Laura and Cincy and so many others, that Mark and Rena, that become, friends for life, And same thing with Thursday tempos at UCD with Chris and her tempo group, Howard Ferris and Bob Sharman. Here it is at, Davis, lunchtime. We'd get out of our, workstations, we'd meet together, whether it's like brutal winds, hail, heat, we'd meet. We may alter our tempo run, but we'd meet because we wanted to chat and catch up on life, and because we could. And that's what it's all about, is just to create that kind of community with our friendships and with the people out there. And at the same time with the Thursday lunch group, downtown with Ian and Murray and Blue and the people that just would be there for you. And you would meet and you would run, you'd do your workout. And it's not just the workout, it's just that creating that friendship and that bond that you had someone else out there to be with you. Because even though running's kind of this solo individual sport, you really never do it alone. You never do it alone. You have people like you and your family supporting all the way with you. And so I just want to thank so many of you that just inspired me to be the best that I could, and more importantly, gave me the friendships and the memories that I will remember, obviously, forever. They're just lifelong, just all those runs. I actually don't remember my PRs or my race times or my wins. I have to look them up or ask my husband, Dave. But I do remember those runs with people in the early mornings and afternoons, and the bonds and the friendships and the faces and the people. However, I have to special thanks to Chris, who's no longer with us, but was a principal mentor in developing my training methods and my goals and teaching me to challenge myself. It was Chris who first told me that I could qualify for the Olympic trials and the marathon. She inspired me to challenge myself and told me I can do more. And, George, he told me, I'd never be that fast, just go longer. But again, George, I was stubborn and I liked the challenge, so I ended up doing both. I ended up going longer and doing ultras in, South Africa and everything. And the point, both George and Chris that taught me and others is that to challenge myself and set my goals higher. And there's always more to give, whether it's the end of a race, a bad pass, or just to push through something to accomplish the challenge. One step at a time to meet your goal, right? One step at a time. Those idiots out there in the marathon, they say, you're almost there, and you're mile 13. You're like, please, that doesn't help me. One step at a time. And it's just like in life. It's so reflective of life to give a little more, to give a little more attention to someone. And that's what a lot of what Chris has taught me and other mentors, but just to be in the moment. And I really try to do that more and more, to be in the moment, to give a bigger smile, to have more patience and with others. And she encouraged me to live life to the fullest, and ultimately I changed the way I lived. I found my best friend, my mentor, and my sister. And I just also, I know they're not all here, and in the brochure I thanked a lot of people, there's so many, but another special thanks to Rich Hanna, who for over 20 years had been a best friend, helped pace me on so many long runs and so many tempos. He was always there for me. He also coached me. And he was a pinnacle part of my running career in transitioning from one distance to another, especially. I think I first met him on those free Friday night runs. Does anyone remember that? Is anyone as old as I am? I don't know. Anyone remember the free Friday night runs at Miller Park? Those were awesome. I mean, the run sucked. I mean, it was hot, and there was potholes and stuff, but the people were amazing, and that was what it was about. The man just went out of his way to give the community what it wanted in terms of racing. Those free Friday night runs were such a nice way to just network with people. And he also introduced me to team and training, and I think in 2000 I started doing nutrition talks and seminars and fueling talks with all the nutrition team and training people. And that just gave me a whole nother network of running friends and people that I bonded with, especially people like Kelly Haynes, who founded Fit for Girls, and I was so, just inspired by her, and I so loved being involved with Fit for Girls for so many years. It helped with low-income middle school girls and set goals in terms of not just life, but running, nutrition, and everything. And also thanks to John Mansour, who I talked to earlier. I know he's not here. He introduced me to SRA, thank gosh, and he approached me to say, hey, let's start a training program, and that's how I became head coach of the first training program for SRA, which is great because then it's a whole nother network of friends that I gained. The Dans and Joes O'Malley's, Kems, and, well, Barbara, not you, because I met you in 1997, earlier. But so many people stem from all these relationships, and that not just running, but the friendships. It was just amazing how many people would sign up for those training groups, and I just got inspired by them. It was such a privilege just to be with them, coach them, and so proud of all their training successes. And most of you know I don't race anymore. I don't train anymore. Most of you know I have a detached tendon in my hamstring, which, it happened, I think 4 years ago. I lose track of time. I don't know. Anyways, but I do continue to run without pain, and that's what I'm thankful for. Every day I'm out there, that I can do one foot in front of the other without pain, just to be out there and do my run. I still challenge myself in many ways, just getting up at 3:30 to do my run before my work, which is challenging in itself. But, it's just to be out there, and be able to do something that gives you that feeling of being connected with others that you made so many connections with in the past. So I'm so grateful for the opportunities that I did what I could when I did. I mean, the running took me to different countries. It took me to different states. It took me to meet different people. But the bonds that I created with the people in the Sacramento running community are the most special to me, and I'll hold them forever. And a final, am I get the hook? Okay. Finally, and most importantly, I have to thank my husband. He's my constant support and unconditional love and complete confidence in all my abilities through all this. So many sacrifices he made for me, endless weekends of training, and then it was training and coaching. There was literally like one night a week we had free together. I mean, it was a lot to ask of anyone. And even all the trips we took. If you think just 50 marathons, which I only did CIM once, so they're all we all had to travel for them, and then all the international races, all that time he gave up for me and believing in me, it's a big sacrifice. He's my biggest soulmate, my rock, the most important person in my life. I don't know how he puts up with me, but I thank him, and I thank all of you, and thank you, SRA, for having this and inviting me here. I'm not sure if I'm worthy, but I love being with all of you, so thank you.